This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
You're welcome back. I would like to first of all apologize for that little hiccup. But yes, let's go ahead and get started. Well, once again, you're welcome to Business Highlights on Trust TV, where we take a look at economic and business development of the week. I will be your host, and my name is Chamun Dabeng. Let's talk numbers. We're opening the show with the bull and the bear on the market. Here is the stock market report for last week, or the week, pardon me. Equities market closed the trading week ended Friday on bearish notes following increased sell-off activities on the bourse, leaving equities with a loss of about 84 billion naira in the review week. The equities market benchmark performance indicator Nigerian Exchange Limited NGX all-share index decreased week on week by 0.33% from a week open high of 47,437.48 basis points to 47,282.67 basis points. Also, the value of stocks listed on the Nigerian exchange decreased by 84 billion naira from a week open high of 25.566 trillion naira to 25.482 trillion naira on Friday, March 18th. The record negative 0.33% in the review week pushed the market's positive return year to date, to a new low of 10.69%, while month to date, the market has decreased by 0.24%. NGX Industrial Index appreciated by 0.14%, except for the Industrial Index. Others closed at the review week in red. NGX Consumer Goods Index decreased by 0.43%. NGX Oil and Gas Index minus 3.87%, NGX Banking Index negative 0.17%, and NGX Insurance Index negative 2.93%. And the top three gainers for Friday were PZ, which closed at 7 naira 85 kobo and was up by 9.55%. CWG closing at 0 naira 99 kobo, up by 8.08%. Royal X closed at 1 naira 12 kobo and was up by 7.14%. And the three losers for the week were MRS, which closed at 13 naira 55 kobo and was down by 9.96%. Ikeja Hotel closed at 1 naira 52 kobo and was down by 9.87%. Wapik closed at 13 naira 55 kobo and was down by 9.43%. Well, that's all for the market. After the break, we take a look at the top stories. You're welcome back to Business Highlights on Trust TV. My name is Chamun Dabeng, and we're moving on to top stories. Now, our first story is on the cost of diesel, which continues to be a burden to many Nigerians who depend on it to run their businesses. Now, this comes after a fuel scarcity that has lasted for over a month and threw up prices of the commodity. Now, the price of diesel in Nigeria went from 312 naira per litre in January to 800 naira in March, indicating a whopping 100% increase. Diesel is responsible for powering a big chunk of the industrial and commercial activities in Nigeria's economy, and the sudden hike in its cost has caused much worry to many as factories are powered with diesel-fired generators. So, of course, there is a huge cost implication. Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, came out to say that its members might soon be forced to cut down jobs, reduce their operations, and increase product prices. Northern Broadcast Media Owners Association also warned that radio and television stations may have to shut down their operations in the northern part of the country. Now, we spoke to media practitioner Ben Ubiri to narrate the challenges facing broadcasting and Vice President of IPMAN, Mr. Abubakar Megandi, to get his comments on the issue.
Really, the price of diesel has gone higher is because already all Nigerians, they know diesel is being deregulated. So it depends on the prevailing market price. And as we are now, everybody knows that the price of the crude oil has changed. And this commodity gas, we normally obtain it through the crude oil. So since the price of the crude oil has changed, automatically the price of the diesel too must change. That is why you have seen that sudden change. Anytime it can be higher, provided that the price of the crude oil is getting higher, automatically the price of the diesel too will go higher because of the exchange rate. Again, you know, the value of naira is down, it's a little bit down. It's 500 and something per $1. So all this contributed to the cost of the diesel.
And all of this is being triggered by the Ukraine-Russia war?
No, it's part of it. It's part of the situation because they normally source the product through the Ukraine. Ukraine is part of the places where we normally get the product.
It's on a very rapid upward climb. From between 200 and 300 naira per litre, it's jumped up to, this morning we bought diesel at 750. That's some very challenging, and you even have to go many places before you can get. Your old clients are telling you people cannot buy anymore. So it's a huge challenge, but we have to supply the service that we supply to clients because they have prepaid. Some of them have prepaid, and this is not a good time to even think about increasing the cost of services to clients because of the economic situation in the country. But this is biting hard on every business, every media house. We are feeling it. We discuss this every day. It's topmost on our agenda every morning as soon as we come to the office. It is not about how, when you talk about content and how to satisfy client, that used to be our topmost agenda. But right now, it is moved to diesel because any moment your generator can go off. And the regular supply from the AEDC, that also is not even, is very, to say epileptic is to be kind. It's really not there. You know, the generators are now the mainstay, and the power holding or NEPA or AEDC is just a side thing. It's really very disturbing. Media houses cannot break even. You cannot even make profit with this situation. Many media houses are thinking of shutting down earlier. Those who are doing 24 hours are thinking of reducing. We closed down officially at 11, and we're even thinking of bringing it back to maybe 7 o'clock or 6. That's challenging because the cost is not commensurate to what you put in. You have staff salaries, you have regular overheads, and now you have diesel that is standing out as a major challenge that you must deal with. It's really difficult. But the bigger problem is that we have not explored local alternatives. Diesel can be refined in Nigeria by our local refineries, by our small small refineries. Many of them have been described as illegal refineries. What government should be able to do is to be able to turn this into a major advantage. Because if we continue, there is no local substitute, there's no local support, and that's why we depend most of the time for international import. We can refine diesel. We have done that research, people have said it. When you describe them as illegal refineries and you destroy them, is there something that we can get from these local refineries to be able to do something locally?
When the prices of products like fuel and diesel go up, it definitely has a ripple effect that extends throughout the country. As those prices go up, so will the prices of goods and services, and in turn will further push Nigeria's 15.7% inflation rate and threaten the jobs and survival of millions of Nigerians. So there is a need for the government to quickly address this issue. Our next top story is on Nigeria's electricity grid crash. Wow. The punches just keep on rolling, don't they? Well, I'm sure that many Nigerians recall that on the 14th of March, the nation's electricity grid crashed at about 10:40 a.m. It was restored, and then barely 24 hours later, it crashed yet again. The grid crashing is just one problem amongst other challenges plaguing the nation's power sector. Did you know that from 2016 to 2021, Nigerians spent 12.3 trillion naira on the purchase of petrol and diesel? There are about 60 million people in Nigeria who own generators to provide electricity for their homes and businesses, and they are spending $14 billion on generators and fuel yearly in order to prevent their businesses from crashing. This really begs the question, what happened to the reforms planned by the government? The government made the decision in 2013 to privatize the power sector. Power generated and made available on the national grid was around 3,500 megawatts to 3,834 megawatts. Currently, it sits around 4,000 to 4,500 megawatts on the average, and it's now 8 years after. So what gives? When the rest of the world is talking about moving to clean energy, should the discussion still be about achieving steady electricity? I spoke to economics and development researcher Adefolarin Olamilekan to get some answers.
I think for us to understand this particular issue is to look at how it was even driven, what led to privatization in Nigeria. And if we are to look at it, we have to go back to as far as 1986 when SAP came into Nigerian lexicon of economic development in terms of IMF loan seeking that Nigerian government wanted to go and get. And from there, we begin to have issues around we should privatize at the commanding height of our economy. And what are the commanding height of our economy? Power generation is key. And there's no nation all over the world that play with its power generation, which is the energy section. But the Nigerian government over the years, since after the privatization in 2013, there have been this lackadaisical attitude towards what needs to be done. And what needs to be done, as far as I'm concerned, we have an issue that we need to address in terms of what is the issue in terms of generation, transmission, and distribution. And if you have to look at it from all what has been said so far, I see the government failed in terms of who bought the power sector from the government. And that is where the challenge is, because if you can look at it summarily, it is just like money exchange and with politicians buying those power sector. And they don't have the technical know-how on how to make use of it and make it better for Nigeria. And that is just the issue around the power sector. Should government continue to manage the power sector in Nigeria, or should we hand it over to the private sector? It's a two-way thing. Already Nigeria is already a capitalist country, and there's no way government can have much role to play in the economy, because majority of the people have said give it to the private sector to handle. Now the private sector have been giving it to the handle, but they don't have the capacity to run it, and that's the major challenge. But one thing we need to strike out is this: the individuals that bought the power sector thought it's going to be like the oil and gas sector, which means that money will start rolling in immediately, in a sense that they fail to impact that sector by investing in the infrastructure that are needed in that sector. How can we generate our own electricity using our local technology? If you look at the war between Russia and Ukraine, why Russia is on the upper hand? Because what do they have? They have all the technology to themselves. And that's why they are trying to do as much as to protect their sovereignty, their self-sufficiency, as well as just, their independence. I wish the same war is between Nigeria and Russia. How are we going to survive? We don't even have any technology of our own. So the key thing is this: how can we harmonize our local technology? We have over 60 research institutions. We have University of Technology and Science and Technology. What have they been doing? For me, as a person, the interest is this, and we have produced enough manpower. What we now need to is to produce the equipment for the manpower to use so that we can now go further in our development. Even without that, forget it, we cannot get it right as it is.
Well, that's all on that topic on the power sector. Well, coming up after the break is Story of the Week. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back, and we're turning our focus to the story of the week. Now, Development Control Department of the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council, AMMC, had plans to demolish illegal structures in the popular Otaku village. Now, this plan was carried out on the 16th of this month, and more than 30 structures were destroyed. Now, let's take a look at this report put together by Aisha Salihu.
This is the Utako District Village Market, where some residents and business owners have some structures here. But apparently right now, there's a demolition exercise being carried out by the Federal Capital Territory Administration. People here have confided in us. They told us that although they have been informed earlier to move out their structure and relocate, as this land belongs to the police. But unfortunately, some of them were unable to move their businesses and move the structures. But now they are experiencing a full-blown demolition exercise being carried out by the FCT administration. And we're here to hear from them and know the plight of the people.
Onlookers watch as structures are being demolished by the authorities. Business owners assist in moving parts of their property as they lament the short notice of relocation given.
After 3 days, police went here and told us it's their property, they are come and remove it. But they don't give us any time to say, well, I should remove our car. It's only 2 days. Because it's a house here, it's our children is here, then it's our business place is here. But all today, this early morning, they are come and demolish our property.
Others say they had been notified with compensation given to the indigenes of the region while lamenting the effect of the demolition on their lives.
Actually, some months before now, they came to notify us that we should leave this place that is a police land. So they even demolished 4 months back. So I think a day before yesterday, they came here again to notify us, and yesterday also, they said we should leave here. It's a police property. So today, all of a sudden, we just saw them. They came and they started the demolition. Actually, I heard that the government compensates the Gwaris, that is the indigenous. But you know, we are marketers, so we don't have any right to that. I heard that the government paid the indigenous. I feel so bad because here in this market, God really bless people here. No matter what we are selling, at least we are doing fine here. All we living here is as if the government has really touching us. I feel so bad.
They come and scatter my Oga shop. I did not have nowhere now. I want to find a way to get my school fees to go my village back, where I go start my school back.
This is obviously going to be a long day here for the people who are carrying out this demolition, and the residents and business owners are obviously unhappy with this development as emotions and tensions are rising. They keep complaining about this particular development, that they were not given enough time to relocate themselves. They've therefore appealed to the government to find a place, to find their way around resettling them, as this is going to take a toll on their source of livelihood. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Well, residents and traders at the Utako village in Abuja have spoken against the demolition of their homes and shops, while they equally rebuff the facts. The FCTA's authorities claim that they received compensation before the exercise. According to those who lost property, no one was paid a dime. Now let's watch public affairs analyst Agaba Wilson Agaba weigh in on the matter.
It's not a crime that people try to make a living by selling along the roadside. It is also not a bad idea that the government wants to keep the city clean and organized. Now, there's always a balance between this. My challenge with our people in the government most time is we do these things without establishing alternatives. Now, these people must leave. And to leave, they need to end somehow. Now, by the time you demolish this place and you do not create an alternative for them, what you are going to get, you're just shifting the problem from one location to another. So it is always important that the government looks into creating an alternative that will absorb the people you are going to displace. I don't know what the comprehensive alternative for street selling should be, but I think the major issue is that people need economic empowerment. They want to do something that gives them income to sustain their living. And that is the reason most of them are in these kind of places. You see them in traffic areas and all of that. How can we give these people an opportunity to earn? These are the things that the government should look into. If we fix these things, these people will naturally fizzle out. It is absolutely the fault of the government. And in Nigeria, these things are very rampant everywhere you go. Somebody start doing something that does not fit into the plan of the city. Nobody says anything. They leave it there, or the people who are supposed to say something goes there to say something, and they give them something, and they keep quiet. Then another person comes on board and say, just sort this man, while I no go there. Just sort this one. No. And then before you know, the thing evolve, and plenty people are now depending on it, and that is when you look at it to say you want to take it down. It must always cause uproar. When you make a plan, stick to it. Ensure that the plan is kept the way it is. Don't allow one person to stay there before another will come. But where we make plans and we don't implement, where we have agencies that practically sit in their offices and wait for salaries to come, people who go out, instead of doing the right thing, go to fill their pocket with money.
Well, according to the Director, Department of Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima, the exercise was not just a routine one, but a special operation to remove all illegal structures to make way for the original Alatees to regain their land. Senior Special Assistant on Monitoring, Inspection and Enforcement to FCT, Minister Ikaro Atta, stated that the operation was also targeted at addressing traffic and criminal activities in the area. All right, so we're moving on to our last segment of the day. Here comes Business Inside. All right, so today we're going to be talking about the Nollywood industry. Yes, so you're welcome back. All right, so we have an interview with director, producer, and writer Dimbo Atia, where he gives us insights to the film industry. So let's take a look.
Nollywood as an industry really has come to stay. I know, but I'm not sure of the statistics. I'm sure you guys will know that it contributes a certain percentage to the GDP of the country. And it's probably one of the most stable employment platform or employment industry that you can find in this country. Like almost every time, almost every day, as I'm talking to you right now, there are people on set filming. Even during the pandemic, except when it was lockdown, even during lockdown, people were still filming at home. So it's an industry that has come to stay, especially in Nigeria. A lot of people have found their footings in terms of, earning their living, making a career out of it. So I would definitely say that Nollywood is, something to be reckoned with. I've been doing this for a while now. I happened on it in 2002. Like I said, it wasn't a childhood dream. It was just something that I discovered I could do, and just stayed in there and just kept growing and learning and improving myself every day. And it has become part of me. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. I think the important part of it was that I actually went to a film school. And so somehow you get prepared. The things that they say to you in film school that gets you prepared, you know that there is a bigger world out there that you need certain strategies to get into, So it was part of the curriculum when we were taught a lot of things about things to expect when you go out there, So when I came out, I pretty much was very aware of what Nollywood was and what it would take. But then as a business person, I had no idea how I was going to go into mainstream and just make a mark and produce, you know, because some of the things that you're going to be faced with when you start is really a lot of funding. Filmmaking is money. Nobody should lie to you. There's no way you can make film for free. It's not possible, because even if it's your phone, you have to buy the phone. And if you have to do good quality shoot, it has to be a good quality phone. And those don't come cheap either, you know. So I knew that there was going to be, you know, the whole task of climbing the ladder, but then it had to start from somewhere. You know, my mentor, Steve Gukas, had said something to me once, and he said, sometimes you start a little, then you measure, then you go. You measure, then you go, and then you expand. You know, so the idea stuck. You know, in my head it was like, okay, let me just try something. You know, just do something small, and it was a short film. You know, something very small. I started doing a TV. I had a variety show that I shot in Jos that cost me 5,000 naira. Everything about that variety show was 5,000 naira. It was the first time that I knew how to, you know, use my goodwill. So it was just calling up friends and, you know, say, and we put it together. There was a need to expand and make it look even more like a serious business. You know, so it was a 2-bedroom somewhere in Zone 6. And then we ended up in a 6-bedroom. Right now, this space is even small. We're looking to expand, you know, but then that's how the business started growing. So it was almost like every time I got some money, I put it back into the business. I didn't go to go and eat shawarma with it. Nope. All this thing that you're seeing is night walk, where you're eating Indomie in the middle of the night because you're walking. So I didn't do all of that. Like Penny will come in and I would just ask them, what do they need? Like if you go upstairs to our workstations, you see how much we've invested in making sure that their jobs are comfortable. So we started investing into the business, because that was all it's just office work and then maybe church, you know, that's all I did. You know, just come here, provide an environment for them, and that's how the business grew. So the model is simple. It's that nobody will give you millions, you know, even if there are government grants out there. It takes a structure for you to even get it, because you have to show them that you're able to pay the money back. Even if somebody is going to loan you money, you have to show the capacity that you're able to pay back. So if you're looking into going into the film business, it's everything that you're putting into. It will grow. The idea is that we started this since 2015. The company officially started in 2015 after I left doing independent jobs. By 2015, we're done Sons of the Caliphate. And this is how many years in? And right now, we're probably one of the top production companies in the country. I don't have a Range Rover yet, you know, but it will come. But then
All right, so if you didn't know, Nigeria produces around 2,500 films annually, making it the second largest film sector globally. It has a projected worth of $6.4 billion in 2021. It's also Africa's largest in terms of value, number of annual films, revenue, and popularity. So yes, a big thank you out there to Dimbo Atia for giving us the insight into Nollywood. Well, if you are planning to get into the film business, I hope they gave you an insight into the industry. Well, we have come to the end of our show for today, and I hope you enjoyed it. Do follow us on our social media platforms on IG, Facebook, and YouTube at Trust TV News. Come back again next weekend, and I will highlight the week for you. My name is Chamun Dabeng. Thank you for watching.